I had contemplated becoming a doctor since I was a child. My father is a physician, and I saw what his life was like as a doctor, and I felt like I wanted to do something that made a difference to help people. I like the idea of medicine because it's scientific, it's objective, it's a way, and it's artistic in a sense. One of the greatest reward of being a physician in general, I think, has to do with basically what a physician does, is taking care of patients. From time to time, there's always a patient that stands out, and there's always challenges that you have to deal with, and some are more difficult than others. One morning I was on call over at Brookwood, and I got a call from the emergency room with this woman who was in her 40s that had vomiting and bleeding. It was pretty severe, and we decided to go ahead and get her prepped and get her over to the GI lab right away. At the same time, I had a medical student with me, and we talked to the patient, introduced ourselves, and so we went ahead and sedated her. I went down with the scope, I looked inside of her upper GI tract and saw the surgical changes, which is what I expected, and we saw a blood vessel that was spurting blood, and it was a stream going from one end where the stomach was attached to the small bowel. There was a blood vessel sticking up that was squirting from wall to wall, and we were able to identify it, and we put a clip on it and stopped the bleeding instantly. And we had the scope down there. We stayed down there an extra 5 minutes just to make sure, of course, there was no more bleeding. And we finished up the case. And I remember having the discussion with a medical student who was all excited about it, saying, well, you really lucked out, because we don't get something that's quite as striking as this. But it was really an interesting thing. And as a follow-up, I saw her back, and we saw the clip in the stomach on x-ray a week later, so I know I was there for at least a week. We were able to release her from the hospital, I think 2 days later, just to make sure. And I saw her back in the office, and she never bled again, and that was the end of the story.